Here I am in COVID lockdown. Guess I gotta take my mask off. I can't infect you. All right, this is my second attempt to do this video. I did a nice video and it didn't record or something, so I'm hoping this one works. So let me show you what's going on here. Let's start with period A. So period A, people. I know some of you need to finish test 4-4. You can do that on my first day back, which will probably be Wednesday. Possibly Tuesday. I think more likely to be Wednesday. I got to get clearance from Mrs. Geary, the nurse. All right, so you're seeing this video on Monday. It's more practice on some trig stuff. Well, I'll show you, but just make a note. This is your homework tonight, Monday night, okay? Write that down. Those are the pages that are posted on the Google Classroom. You know, that new set of worksheets, whole bunch of worksheets. Scroll down to page 167, it's trig stuff. Tuesday, you drop. Wednesday, I hope to be in person. You don't have to worry about this yet. But Wednesday, we'll also finish the test. So assuming I'm in person on Wednesday, we'll finish the test there if you have to, and do our trig stuff. Or if I'm not there Wednesday, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So all you got to worry about now is Monday, do this homework. Wednesday, be ready to finish your test. That's period A. So for period D, you're seeing this video Monday. This video is going to carry you through Monday and Tuesday. So this is a 2-day video. It's a 2-day video, Monday and Tuesday. Oh boy, I'm doing this standing up because my back is killing me. So standing up is better. It's a 2-day video. So in other words, what I'm going to show you on here covers everything you need to know for Monday's homework and for Tuesday's homework. So let's make a note of this. Monday's homework. Write that down. Page 167, 1 through 11. Tuesday's homework. Tuesday's homework. Page 167, 12 through 14. Hey, that almost worked. Oh, and page 168, it didn't work. So Tuesday's homework is 2 pages. And as I go through the lesson, you'll see what stuff is for Tuesday, what stuff's to Monday, what stuff's page 167, 8. You just need to know that's your homework. I'm going to show you how to do it. So here we go. The topic is trigonometry. Okay. Trigonometry is all about the ratio of sides in a right triangle. What do I mean by the ratio? A ratio is when you make a fraction. So if you take a right triangle like this one, and let's label the angles A, B, C, the right angle C here, and then the sides are lowercase letters. You know this from geometry that opposite side A is angle A, opposite angle C is side C, opposite angle B is side B. Okay. We also know this, Pythagorean theorem, where the C squared, the one that stands alone, is always a hypotenuse. We also see it written this way. The 2 legs are interchangeable. Doesn't matter which one lists first or second, the A or the B, but the hypotenuse always stands alone. All right, so one thing we need to be able to do is, given 2 sides, find the third. So if I gave you this, could you find C? Let's do it. So we have 6 squared plus 8 squared equals C squared. I could have written 8 squared plus 6 squared, doesn't matter. But the C squared is going to stand alone. So 36 plus 64 is C squared, that's 100. Take the square root, C equals 10. Okay? Let's do another one. Hand-drawn right triangle. Let's say this and this, and let's find side A. Well, here A is the unknown, so it's A squared plus 4 squared equals 12 squared. So a squared plus 16 equals 144, subtract 16. A squared equals, what's that, 128? So a is the square root of 128. Square root of 128. How does that break down? What goes in 128? Let's see, 128. 2 times 64. So I think it's going to be 8 root 2. Yep. So side A would be 8 root 2. Okay. Why do we need to know that? Because now we're on to trigonometry. Here it is, kids. A big day in your young lives. Your first look at trig. So trig is all about the ratios of sides in a right triangle. Here's the right angle. Okay. Call it A, C, B. And let's say we say this side's 13, this side's 5, this side's 12. Then we have 6 trig functions. I'm going to show you the first 3. The first one's called sine. The shortcut is SIN. And sine of an angle, let's say angle A, is called the opposite over the hypotenuse. I'll show you what that means in a minute. Then there's cosine. Looks like cos of an angle is adjacent over hypotenuse. I'll tell you what that means in a minute too. And then tangent, tan, is opposite over adjacent. Let me explain all that. Let's just worry about angle A. Let's not worry about angle B for a minute. So for angle A, we have a side that's opposite angle A. Which side is opposite angle A? 12. So for angle A, that's the opposite side. This is always a hypotenuse, opposite the right angle. So this side next to angle A, that's called the adjacent. You know, adjacent means next to. So we have opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse for any triangle. So if we're going to form the sine of angle A, we take the opposite over the hypotenuse. That's 12 over 13. The cosine of angle A is the adjacent over the hypotenuse, 5 over 13. And the tangent is what? Opposite over adjacent, 12 over 5. Okay, let's practice that some more. So look at this triangle. I can't say which side is the opposite, which side is the adjacent. We know this is a hypotenuse, but opposite and adjacent depends on the angle. So if I say angle P and Q and R, then for angle Q, this is the opposite, and that's the adjacent, yes? For angle Q, that's the opposite, that's the adjacent. But for angle P, that's the opposite, and that's the adjacent. Opposite, adjacent. So it's all relative which angle we're talking about. So let's say we want to find sine of P. Well, let me give you some numbers here. Let's say we have this time 4, 12, and well, this side we have to find. So sine of P is opposite of hypotenuse. So for P, it's 12 over hypotenuse. We don't know what it is. So why don't you take Pythagorean theorem and figure it out? Go ahead. So you did leg squared plus the leg squared equals the hypotenuse squared. 16 plus 144. So R squared equals 160. Oh, how does that break down? 4 root 10? Yep. So R is 4 root 10. All right, so here we go. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. That's 12 over 4 root 10. Can't leave a square root in the denominator. First, cancel the 4 with the 12. So I get 3 over root 10. And now I got to do the root 10 over root 10 thing. So I get 3 root 10 over 10 for sine P. Let's make some room here, and you do cosine P. Cosine P is adjacent 4 over hypotenuse 4 root 10. Cancel the 4s, so I get 1 over root 10, and then we do this. So it's root 10 over 10. What if I said, let's bring angle Q in here. What if I said tangent of Q? Tangent is opposite over adjacent, so it's 4 over 12, or 1/3. Okay, so the first part of our homework is doing exactly that. Let's find page 167. These notes are here because I already did this video, like I said. And now I'm doing it again. Here we go. So the first few problems on page 167, it says find the 6 trig functions. I've only shown you 3. So find the 3 trig functions for angle theta. Okay, here they have the angle measure inside. This is a Greek letter theta. It's used in trigonometry and in fraternities. So instead of putting an angle A on the outside, they put a theta in the inside, same thing. So why don't you practice that for, let's do number 2. So for number 2, find sine theta, cosine theta, and tangent theta. But to do that, you've got to find the missing side here. I'll call that A. Go ahead. Well, A is a leg, so a squared plus 5 squared equals 13 squared. A squared plus 25 equals 169. Subtract 25. A squared is 144. So A, in fact, is 12. So now sine of theta is opposite 5 over hypotenuse 13. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse 12/13. And tangent's opposite over adjacent 5 over 12. Right, so that's how you do problems 1, 2, and 3. 4 and 5 are interesting, at least to me they are. Maybe they're not to you. It says in a right triangle, angle A is acute. All that's saying is A is not the right angle. Right, any right triangle has 2 acute angles and 1 right angle. So A is not the right angle. So I can put it there, or I could have put it here, it doesn't matter. It says if tangent A is 3, what is sine A? You're going to find that. We'll make tangent A into a fraction, 3 over 1. Well, we know tangent is opposite over adjacent. So what this is telling us is that 3 is the opposite and 1 is the adjacent. So if I put angle there, that's my 3, that's the 1. How do I find sine? Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. I know my opposite's 3. I don't know the hypotenuse. I'll do Pythagorean theorem. It's going to come out square root of 10. So it's 3 root 10 over 10. How's that? All right, you try this one. If well, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, which tells us the adjacent is 2. The adjacent is 2 and the hypotenuse is 5. So now you got to find tangent, it's opposite over adjacent. You don't know the opposite, do you? So go ahead and use Pythagorean theorem. Well, I see who keeps dinging me. A squared plus 2 squared equals 5 squared. What, you get A equals square root of 21, right? All right, so that's square root of 21. So it's opposite over adjacent. And there you go. All right, so that's those problems. Then we have these types of problems. And actually, We start with these. Okay. 7 through 11 says use a trig function to find the value of x, round to the nearest tenth. Round to the nearest tenth. Okay. To find x, which is a side, right? X is a side, x is a side, x is a side, and so on. We have to be given another side in an angle. So here's how it works. To find a side using trig, you need to have a given side in a given angle. So you have 3 players involved. I call it the 3-player game. So for these 3 players, angle 30, what is, speak clearly, it's the COVID, kids. It's the COVID fog. For this angle, what sides do I have? I got opposite and I've got adjacent. Again, for this angle, what have I got? Opposite, adjacent. So that is tangent. So I can say tangent of 30 degrees equals the opposite 8 over the adjacent x. All right, how do you solve that? I'm going to put it on another page. Tan 30 equals 8 over x. Well, tan 30 just stands for a number. Let's say the number was 10. What if we had 10 equals 8 over x? How would you solve that for x? You'd multiply each side by x. And you have 10x equals 8. Then you divide by 10. That's what you do here. Multiply each side by x. So I have x tan 30 equals 8. We want to get x by itself, so divide by tan 30. So x is equal to 8 divided by whatever the tangent of 30 is. This is where you use your calculator. When we didn't have calculators, we had to use tables. They have these trig tables in the back of the book. So let me show you here. I'm not sure how it works in the Chromebook calculator, but on these calculators, you want to turn your phone that way, right? And now you got a different interface. But you can see in there that you've got sine, cosine, tangent in there. So if I want a tangent 30, I hit 30, 30. Then I hit the tangent button, and I get whatever that is, 0.5774, we'll call it. So over here, so x is going to equal 8 divided by 0.5774, and just calculate that on your calculator. Woo, and you got it. Okay, let's do another one. Let's take this one here. That's a better triangle. Let's say we have 51 degrees. This side is x. No, it's not. This side is 13. We'll make this the x. Okay, 3-player game. Given side, unknown side, and a given angle. So for this angle, what do we got? We've got adjacent, we've got hypotenuse. That's cosine. So you write cosine 51. Just the word cosine itself doesn't mean anything. It needs an angle with it. So cosine 51 is adjacent over hypotenuse. Don't calculate yet. Don't go to the calculator until you get x by itself. So let's multiply each side by 13. So 13 cosine 51 is your answer, x. Now, if you have a TI-84, one of those calculators, you can just punch it in exactly like you see this. Type in 1, 3, cosine 5, 1, enter. Beautiful. That's why it's a calculator and not a telephone. On the telephone, is that the way they call it? They still call it a telephone. On the cell phone, here's what you got to do. You've got to do 51 cosine times 13. So I've got to hit, I can't show it to you, but 51. Then I hit cosine, get a number, leave it like that, and then times 13. If you did it, maybe you got what I got, 8.18. They said round to the nearest tenth, 8.2. One more. 72.3 degrees, 28.1, and 32.7. Oh, no. Not in the present moment. This is going to be an X there. That's X. Okay. All right. So for that particular angle, I got opposite, I got adjacent, so it's tangent. So I write tangent 72.3 equals opposite over adjacent. Again, X is on the bottom, so multiply by X. X tan 72.3 equals 28.1. Get X by itself, divide by tan 72.3. So X equals this. Again, on your TI-84, you can type in 28.1 divided by tan 72.3. For cell phone people, well, I'm not sure how your Chromebook works on this. I think you got to do 72.3 and then hit the tan button. Get that number, write it down, and then divide it into 28.1. So just do that. Here I go. So 72.3, 72.3, 10. I got 3.1334. So I'm just going to do 28.1 divided by that. Or I can do divided by 28.1 and then do the 1 over X button. That'll work too. Okay. All right. So that is problems 6 through 11. 12, 13, and 14. And for period A, this is part of your homework for Monday. Period D, this is part of your homework for Tuesday. What's the difference here? Here, you're given two sides and you're asked to find the angle. Given two sides, find the angle. Okay, still a three-player game. So for this angle, I've got adjacent, hypotenuse, it's cosine. All right, cosine of angle X equals 4 over 5. Well, how do I solve for X? I don't know why the widgets keep popping up, but it's good to know that it's 50 degrees in Westford, Massachusetts. Queen says, Harry, Meghan, Andrew not invited to, oh. I don't know how to make it go away. You guys could tell me, but I just wait for it to go away. Widget, go away. Don't know how to do it. I'm afraid to touch this, then I feel like I'm subscribing to something or I'm going to get a million emails. It's gone. All right. You can't divide by cosine. Cosine itself doesn't mean anything. You can't do that. Cosine X means something. So here's what you do. We're asking what angle is such that its adjacent over its hypotenuse is 4 over 5. What angle is just the right size, so these sides are 4 over 5. We use something called inverse cosine. It's the opposite operation. So here's what you do. X is going to equal the inverse cosine of 4/5. If you want, you can make that 4/5 0.8. So on your calculator, you're going to put in 0.8, then you're going to hit the second key, and then you hit the inverse cosine key. So on the phone, I'm going to stop the share here. On my phone, you see you have sine, cosine, tangent. But if you hit this second button here, now they just turn into sine, looks like sine to the -1 power, cosine to the -1 power, tangent to the -1 power. Those are called inverse sine, cosine, tangent. So the way I do it is we're going to hit 0.8, then hit the second key, and then I hit the inverse cosine, and I get an error. Let's try it again. 0.8 inverse cosine. I get 36.87. So this comes out to be X is 36.87 or 36.9. Another one. And we'll be done after this. So this is a technique we use if we're given two sides. And we have to find an angle. Okay, what are our three players here? Opposite, hypotenuse, so it's sine. So we write sine x equals 21 over 28. So x equals the inverse sine of 21 over 28. This is what you got to do. Is there another way to do it? I don't think so. You need this equation to figure out that equation. So first thing you do is you do 21 divided by 28 on your calculator. You do 21 divided by 28 and leave it. Don't round it off or anything. Oh, what am I doing? I can't use a calculator. 21 divided by 28 is actually an easy 0.75, but even if it wasn't, if it was 0.74396, whatever it is, leave it. Don't round it, don't round it, don't round it, leave it. Then do inverse sine. So I'd have to do second sine. Did you get 48.6 basically? So you do this out, get your 0.75, then hit the second key and inverse sine. All right, and that's the homework, kids. That's it. So I will see you when I'm COVID free, hopefully by Wednesday, maybe Tuesday, but thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for being patient with all this. Thanks for watching the video after video after video. And I will see you soon. All right, take care, kids. Stay healthy. Bye-bye.